let's turn our attention to what's going on in River State, Jeffrey. It's been making the news, and it's been on for months now. And it looks like each day comes with its own new drama, a new politicking. The latest one is the governor, as you said earlier on, saying that he will probe governance in River State. That has gotten a lot of people talking. So we'll begin with someone who's your nickname. Who has your name actually, but rather is your namesake, I should say. Name is Jeff Olisa 042, and this is like a letter to the governor of River State. It says, "Dear Governor Sim Fubara, as you are fighting your detractors, don't forget the primary purpose of government. Deliver good governance to the people at all costs, and that way you'll enjoy undiluted support come 2027. Ends this one by saying Godspeed.
Well, okay, part 7 says, I am not in support of this decision. It's becoming childish. This political shenanigans with Wike must stop. Fubara should deliver on the mandate given to him by the Rivers people. It should know that time is going and it should be working now.
But take a look at the angle. The next user, Akon Ayomide 10, says he will indict himself too. He was the Accountant General of River State. He was declared wanted by the EFCC, and the then former governor of River State said to have covered him up in his government house, which didn't make him appear in his governorship campaign at all. Wow. Says that he's joking, but we saw him during the campaigns.
All right, King Sazi A says he can't probe Shinshin. Is it Shinshin? There's already a court judgment stopping the probe of past government of River State instituted by Dr. Peter Odili. All those ones are noise making. That's pigeon now. You should just enjoy all it can while it lasts.
Well, let's take one more on this, and it's coming from Samuel Okoli 15. Says probing Wike's 8-year tenure will be the best legacy Fubara will leave for those that will govern River State after him, because it's going to leave an open door of accountability, probity, and transparency, not only for himself but for others.
All right. We will go on now away from the issue of River State to this issue of the family bullied student slammed 500 millionaire suit on Abuja School. Remember that incident of that young lady that was slapped a couple of times, and it made news, and the school was shut down for like 3 days and all of that. So there's been an approach, I think, to the courts now to see what can come out of that whole issue. But this is what you're saying. Ajibola Aking says, this is huge. Let's see how the legal battle goes and if the school opts for out-of-court settlement.
I know that we discussed this extensively,
yes,
and we looked for ways to empower school owners, administrators, teachers, even parents particularly, because parents were big in that one and the rest, on how to go about this. But this next user, Jalal says, or before that, let's take Prince Demlak. Prince Demlak has the one, says, I can't be paying a huge amount of money in school where my child's safety will not be their first priority. So, that's what this user has to say.
And then he jolly says, that's counterproductive. The mother of the victim was also seen on TV beating the bullier now. I don't know whether there's a word like that. It was
said to be the aunt of
the aunt, actually. It's not the mother. I think this should be settled out of court, probably.
So will we be seeing what? Let me take the next one. Northerner Zero says, why will they sue the school? Is it the school staff that bullied the girl? Didn't the girl's aunt slap the girl who bullied their daughter? The school, and that's what we referenced earlier on.
All right. Shagwa Bin says, that's the way to go. This will make schools sit up. If we have been taking all these agencies and institutions to court, maybe Nigeria would have been a better place by now.
All right, so we'll see how that plays out. The family of the girl that was bullied suing the school for 500 million naira. Away from that, let's talk about power. Yes, power. And we're not even talking about the protests just yet that we saw yesterday with Labour, NLC, and TUC across NERC and DISCOs. This is about the IMF asking the federal government to stop electricity subsidy. I know it was news to a lot of people when they first heard that, the government actually pays subsidy on electricity. Yes, it does, but the IMF is saying, take it out. The minister had said that it was reduced, or it's been reduced, or to an extent removed, but apparently not totally. So what do you have to say about this latest advice from the IMF? Well, Idara Light says, the president should understand that wealth is not money, but making things abundant and cheap. So rather than all these financial manipulations, it says, focus on producing food, petrol, and electricity to where they are abundant but affordable. That mindset should guide all economic policies. Okay.
All right, this person, quite a complicated name, but let's leave it at Game Point 35. They are directly or indirectly telling the government to increase tariff. I haven't seen anything that looks like electricity subsidy. Are you subsidizing what you're not supplying to customers? In some areas for months, there's no power. A sector that was privatized. What are they subsidizing? I guess that's what we wanted to say.
Jeffrey, you need to see this one from the next user. Sir, MC Awesome sees this as a command, actually, and that's in the last line of the tweet that was put up by the user. But starts by saying, who goes a borrowing, goes a sorrowing. As long as government can harness the tremendous resources at our disposal, believes that the government will continue to beg for subvention, and that's where you see that we'll never stop receiving these commands.
Yes, you can understand the sentiment of Nigerians, given what happened in 1986 with the structural adjustment program and what we've seen this adjustment program do to other economies that primarily they say is to taper inflation in the long run. So they privatize all these assets and liberalize trade. But social impact is quite difficult to manage for a country like ours. And for the record, even when they put out those social cushioning policies, it really doesn't move the needle. So Nigerians generally, with SAP of 86, we have the IMF adoption hesitancy trauma most of the time when it comes to this thing. So, but it's important to put your views out there. It's all for us to have this conversation and to make sure. But he made a strong point.
Right.
If you don't go borrowing, nobody's going to give you a condition on how you want to run your government. So, because some people believe that the Bretton Woods institutions are the puppets of the global north. So it's an argument that can go back and forth. So, but are they not? We're going to look for that later on. Electricity tariff. Gary, they have the next one.
Oh, yes. So that's the other one about the protests. Labor unions shutting down Jos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, discos. So the first user, B Family, says, the units of kilowatt hour for what I used to pay for at same cost has reduced by almost 40%. You can say that again. I'm not in Band A, but Band E. So tariffs increase have been worked for all electricity consumers or customers, he says, not for only Band A. So would need to follow this because no announcement was made for all the other bands.
Yes. So just Band A.
Exactly. So let us, if you can just send us a message, B Familoni, to just reach out. You can do that on our WhatsApp lines, which you see on the screen. Let us follow up on that and see what the case is, because that should not be the case.
Philip Neri Michael says, good move, Labour. That wicked tariff hike has to be reversed immediately. All right, big support for the Labour Union.
Oh, yes. This next one is also another support from Philip Neri Mike, says, good move, Labour. That's okay.
I've read that.
You took that already.
I think we're going to the next one.
Yes.
Go to the next one, Kyle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's a statement from the Federal Executive Council meeting. President Bola Tinubu banning the purchase of petrol-dependent vehicles. Yes, so it came out yesterday. But let's take a look at what you say about this first. And this first one is from DK, with a lot of figures, says, you just don't ban things which you don't really produce in large quantities, which are in demand. This will trigger an inflation in the price of cars.
All right, Stanley Chika says, we should be buying diesel, 8,200 per liter diesel, that's for the car. Is that one cheaper, or we should go for electric car when dollar is how much to Naira? I hope this is fake news. So basically, the president did not say ban. It instructed that all of the vehicles for, I think, ministries, departments, and agencies should now be CNG powered.
So that's the clarification.
Yes, they want to start from home before they come to all of us. Those of them are the seat of power. And we hope that the fleets of the presidents also, maybe some of the ministers, we should see. That's the truth. When Nigerians see you lead by example, it's easier to, achieve results. But when you say one thing and you do the other, you're not going to get any result. That's the truth in any form of leadership. So it's great to see the president say ministries, departments, and agencies at the federal level at least should be using CNG vehicles. So if you work there, please look out for those vehicles. And those of you who monitor those spaces and those of us who monitor them will also look out to really see whether they do it or not, or it's just talk shop.
So let's step back again. We put this out just to clear the air.
Yeah.
Some people had gone with some of the reports they saw that it's a ban.
It's not
for you. It's for the MDAs who are trying to purchase new vehicles. But two issues people have raised. One, how about converting the already existing vehicles as well? Right, because we have
to be hybrid, right?
To be CNG powered as well, instead of looking to purchase new ones, because obviously you still be buying petrol for the old ones. That's on the one hand. So are we going to be seeing the MDAs convert the current vehicles they use and all of that? Secondly is the process of this. How long will this take really to start shopping for CNG powered vehicles? It's a lot, but it needs to be broken down properly. When is this going to start? Does that mean that even the president's fleet, as you said, will also be using CNG powered vehicles? It's important, but let's give kudos to government, because this is a point we've raised time and again. We've had the special assistant on that particular initiative on our show, and we've asked, will the government be leading on this? So it's good to see the government at least listening to all of our advocacy and questions raised about this matter.
But what people are also saying is that there are too many things moving at the same time. The government may need to slow down a bit at some point, because the fundamentals, what they call the legacy fundamentals, are not right yet for our country. The basics are not right yet. So some of these things that we're supposed, these policies are supposed to be great policies, but because the fundamentals are not right, that's why we're struggling as a country. Light, transportation, security, basic fundamentals that should drive a society. We don't have it working, plus other technical ones that I may not want to mention. So things like CNG and all of this supposed to have been there before this policy. So that's why it looks confusing, convoluted, and complicated.
Yes, the stations where you buy the CNG from. We understand that some states only one that you'll find there, or maybe two. So
I think the government should really focus. The primary, I think, if there is a counsel to the administration of our president, is the fact that this government should be big on productivity and attract FDIs. We haven't seen much in that direction. We've seen a lot of FPIs, not FDIs, which is what will provide the jobs at the end of the day. If productivity is low, as it is right now, and even divestment of companies, no matter what they do, it will not work. That's the simple truth.
Yeah, so we keep our eyes on these policies. We hope it's not just put it out there and then everybody forgets about it. 2 years' time, you'd be like, oh, the government said we're meant to be seeing CNG-powered vehicles. So you and I would ensure that we keep an eye on this one. And that's what we're all about right here on The Morning Brief, Jeff.
Yes, and that's all from what we've been, reading on X right here. But keep it coming, whether it's on X or on our WhatsApp. Just keep those messages. We'll take them as much as possible. But we'll switch gears now. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll get to the first conversation for the day. Join us again.